What it do, what's going on, and thank you for tapping in with another episode of Kountry Fan Mail Podcast. I want to say this is episode 118. So thank you for tapping in. We out here, and we're trying to get better every single day. If y'all haven't already checked out my last interview was with my dear cousin Tanisha Smith. Make sure that y'all go check out that interview. Super dope, talented lady. You'll definitely hear some in that interview that you like and or relate to. But this interview that I have today is a return offender of Kountry Fan Mail, so much to the fact that he's actually been on the show one more time than y'all will actually ever know because the footage is gone. He was part of the wrap up when I lost all my footage and some recordings, beats and all that stuff. Y'all know about that. He was part of that, but it's my boy. He was gracious enough to come back onto my platform and talk his shit with me. So welcome him back to the stage, my big homie, St. Pat. What's good, G?
It's good, man. How you doing?
Hey, man, life is good. Life's getting better, man. Once I, had to stop crying over that spilled milk.
I feel you, man.
Yes, sir.
No,
yes, sir.
it is.
Already. Like I said, I appreciate you coming back on the show, man. You know what I'm saying? It's always love, man. Anytime we talk, like, it means a lot for real.
Yeah, man. Absolutely, man. I always love doing interviews. And, what I'm saying? Me and you, we've been talking way more, off the camera. So, it's all love at the end of the day.
Already, man. Already. So you already know where I'm going with this, man. You probably already know the first question I'm gonna ask you.
Right.
What's the first song you listened to when you woke up this morning?
Some Larry June, man. Off his new album.
I was just bumping Larry June like no lie 2 seconds ago. My wife was like, "Who's that?"
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Larry June definitely got it right now. Shout out to San Fran.
Definitely, man.
You said what?
The whole Bay.
Oh yeah. Shout out to the Bay. Yeah, she was just like, don't single out San Fran. Shout out to the Bay for real. But yeah, man. So let's go ahead and get into this, bro. So there's been a lot of things, some things that I've been seeing you've been cooking up. It's been cooking up, and it's definitely some new projects. So that's actually the very first thing. I usually don't get into new projects right at the beginning, but I do want to talk about this project. So tell me about your new project, your upcoming project, the Lair.
Yeah, so the Lair is basically a collab project. It's the first time that I'm doing something of this caliber. So basically, it's myself and my homie Vinny Dangerous, another fellow NC rapper, producer. He does everything, and also the guy who's producing all the tracks. His name is Born Essential, and I've had some production from him in the past. From my Coronation EP, he did the Only If track. And then he actually put out a small EP earlier this year, and I did a song for him. It's called In Due Time. So frequent collaborator. So yeah. For
sure. And I noticed with the cover art, y'all kind of went with y'all definitely went with like a De La Soul, kind of homage, that type of thing. So was that kind of was that something that was inspired by the project, or was that something that was kind of a creative liberty that the designer had?
Basically, we just kind of we tried to come up with ideas of just hip hop trios. You know what I'm saying? So at first we were kind of deciding between that one. I think it was like a Black Moon cover, and I think it was the Fugees. And originally I wanted to do the Fugees, but after we was like, we'll just stick with the De La Soul joint. So
yeah,
and then shout out to the homie the Fat Boy. You know what I'm saying? He did the cover, and yeah, man, it came out great, man. I think it really, like I said, if you know what I'm saying? And when you look at it, you can automatically tell, what I'm saying, where this is from. So it came out dope, and yeah, man, I'm ready for it to drop. You know what I'm saying? September 30th, you know what I'm saying, all streaming platforms.
Already, make sure y'all tap in September 30th, the Lair. And talking about that level of nostalgia, I was having, I reference my wife all the time. I was having these conversations with my wife, and I was just like, it's hard listening to the radio these days because not just your base, your very standard. I don't want to listen to the same things, but when I listen to the radio, almost every single song is a completely is you would say it's sampled, but it really is just inspired by an old song because they're not really using samples. They're literally just remaking the beat, and people just have no idea that, saying that there was an original song to that. So this kind of leads me into my next question, because you being a producer, how do you kind of feel about, saying what's really happening in the game right now? Because I feel like this is happening not just from, your younger producers. I mean, you got people like Hit Boy, you know what I'm saying, who's remaking these songs, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, I'm not, you know, saying anything bad about them, but how do you feel about that?
I mean, I love it, you know, from an artist standpoint and a production standpoint. I think that, you know, like you said, it's kind of crazy because a lot of these younger kids, they don't know about these original songs that,
No
you know,
idea.
everybody's sampling these days, and they think it's something brand new, and it's like, nah, that's been out. You know what I'm saying? A prime example would be the Billie Eilish joint with I don't know the dude's name, honestly, but you know what I'm saying? The Billie Eilish joint is sampling Nori. Like, when I hear it, I'm like, oh, that's Nori. You know what I'm
Okay, I
saying? But
don't think I've heard that one before. I might have to check that one out.
yeah, I think, matter of fact, I think his name is Armani White, and he got a track called Billie Eilish, and it's sampling
the song called Billie Eilish. Okay, I thought you
yeah,
meant it
yeah,
was
yeah.
Billie Eilish and somebody else.
Oh no,
Okay, I
no,
know that
yeah,
song.
yeah,
Yeah, something Billie Eilish.
yeah, yep,
Yeah, that sure as hell is a Noriega song.
yeah. I'm like,
Oh, I ain't
but in
even
my
think
mind,
about
like I said, I hear it, I'm like, oh, that's Nori, but to these young kids, it's some new shit. It's like, you know what I mean? So it's like,
that. Like
it
kind
is
of
what
like
it is.
what was it, Rihanna and DJ Khaled? People just like I think remember the what's that song? Wild Thoughts by DJ
Oh
Khaled
yeah,
and
that's
Rihanna.
Santana. I mean, you know,
Man,
yeah,
I saw
yep.
that somebody played the Santana. They was like, oh, they sampled DJ Khaled. I was like, oh
Like,
god,
no, they didn't do that.
G. Oh man, so do you feel inspired to kind of have you ever felt inspired to do something similar? Like, has there ever been a track that you were just like, I'm gonna remake that shit one day, you know?
There's a ton of stuff that I would love to sample. You know what I'm saying? But I think what the only thing that's stopping me is, you know, knowing a little bit more about the business side and how niggas will come at you if you want some BS. You know what I mean? So that's kind of
Yeah.
what's stopping me. Eventually, you know, definitely like next year when I really, you know, put my album to rest, put it out or whatever, I'm gonna be more um doing more production. So if I decide to
Mhm.
do any type of sampling, it'll probably just be like a SoundCloud release or a Bandcamp type of thing,
Yeah.
or unless I'm producing for somebody else, then it's whatever. But yeah, man, it's a ton of stuff that I would love to sample. I got a few tracks in my archives. I've sampled Flowetry, the Say Yes joint. I've
That
sampled
sounds fire already.
yeah, I've sampled the Barge, you know, the I Like It joint. You know what I'm saying? I have a
Okay.
lot of samples, but I just
Yeah.
don't do it as much now as I used to. You know what I'm saying?
And I would actually love for you to go into that, to go into a little bit more of an explanation of some of the things that can happen when you know what I'm saying, when you play that game, you know, um, because you know, as you know, I feel like anytime that you're, you know what I'm saying, really dealing with anything in this culture, you know, I'll just speak on it for what I can relate it to a podcasting. Anytime that I released the episode and it had snippets of people's stuff, there were the intros, whether it be anything like that, I'm not getting paid for that. I can't get paid for that legally because it's like
Hmm.
it's somebody else's content, even if you're just using a little bit of a part of it. So it's like once you start to know but you know that I didn't know like the super details, but I knew that that wasn't right. So it's like, you know, once you know better, you know what I'm saying, you do better, you start to move differently. So shit, I forgot where I was going with that question.
Basically about the line you told when you doing samples, basically. In a nutshell.
Yeah. Can you explain more so like what can happen or some of the ramifications that can happen when you know what I'm saying, you sample somebody's music without permission?
Well, one of the things is, you know, as far as sampling is concerned, it's two examples that I learned. Well, one example specifically was from the business class, you know, which is the Juice Lord incident. So basically, um, his song "Lucid Dreams," well, the producer rather, the producer basically he didn't sample a song from Sting. I think that's a rock group or something. But
Mm-hmm.
anyway, a legendary rock group. So anyway, the producer he didn't sample them, but what he did was he had an interpolation of one of their tracks. So what happened was they heard it and they're like, "Hey, wait a minute, that
That's
sounds
our
like our
shit.
track." Yeah. So they took him to court, and then they ended up getting like 85% of that track. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of his biggest hits. You know what I'm saying? But on top of that, it's not the fact that he did the interpolation, because technically, if we get in technical, a sample is actually something from the original recording. A lot of these tracks nowadays do interpolations, which is basically the same melody, same. It's the same thing, but it's just different instruments. You know what I'm
So a
saying?
sample has to be directly from the original track, but
Yeah,
making the
yeah. Like a
sound that
sample
sounds
is,
like it.
yeah, the sample is basically from that original track. Like, you got a lot of people who sample, I don't know, stuff like Biggie or something like that, where it might have some of their track or like their voice in it or something. That's from the track. But if it's an interpolation, it's just kind of like your version of that track. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
But nonetheless, it's not even the fact that the guy did the interpolation. It's the fact that he didn't ask for permission first. That's the thing that gets people messed up, because you can do your research, and we all know a lot of these artists out here, they don't own their own music. So
Yeah,
you really just have to find out who owns it, and then whatever that price may be, if you want to use it, go pay for it. If not, don't touch it. You know what I'm saying?
for sure. It
Um,
makes sense. Do you think
yeah, man.
that's
So
changing though? Do you think that's changing in the game, like as far as artists having more ownership over their shit? 'Cause I know, like, if you look back to the time of like Sting and those groups and or yeah, Scream is it not Scream? What's that damn group's name? Is it Kiss?
yeah, Kiss. Yeah.
Um, thinking back to the time, say those are like, I don't know, the 70s, say 60s, 70s, 80s. Let's look at those 3 different decades. A lot of artists back then did not own their shit, didn't know anything about understanding the music industry. Everything was big record label, saying the top 5 guys run the whole industry type shit. Do you think that
Right.
that's changing now? Do you think that artists are kind of getting a little bit more smarter about their shit?
Yeah, absolutely. And they should be, because again, we live in a day and age where, information is at our fingertips. So you have no excuse not to know what to do, what not to do, what you can do, what you can't do. You have all the information in the world. So, when it comes to even something as simple as like myself starting my, LLC, and okay, I'm a label now. But you know what I'm saying? It's stuff like that. It's so simple to do, but not everybody knows how to do it. You know what I mean? So um ultimately though, when it comes to business, how to handle yourself, splits, the whole sampling and thing. I mean, like, you got to know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Because I
Yeah,
know people right now who got tracks that got well-known samples, and in my mind, I'm like, that's a fire track. But at the same time, if somebody hear you and they see that this song is going up, then they're gonna come after you. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So
yeah,
it's a game, man. But like I said, I got plenty of tracks that I would love to put out right now, but I can't do that. You know what I'm saying?
for
So
sure. It's definitely a double-edged sword. I feel like it's hard because because I feel like you really never know who's actually going to give a damn. Because like I
right.
feel like when you look at Nicki Minaj and Tracy Chapman, that was the craziest connection ever that I saw. But Tracy Chapman was like, nah, that's my song. And it's like, how did it get back to Tracy Chapman? This is fucking Nicki Minaj. She's on a completely different side of the spectrum.
hmm
But then I'm
The
pretty
thing
sure there's
about
a
it is, man, they got people who actually just sit there and listen to music all day, and if they hear any type of interpolation or unauthorized sample, they're gonna bring it up, and that's how they do it. You know what I'm saying? They got people that's trained to do that all day, and again, that's why you got to be careful with what you're doing, especially when you're on like this level, the independent level. Like, for example, we see a lot of these young kids in the NY drill scene taking all these samples and flipping them to do all these tracks, and it's cool, it sound good, but realistically,
how far is it
you
gonna
know
go?
exactly, because eventually you're gonna get hit with a lawsuit because you over here sampling, or like what's that track that what was this? I don't know if you know, what's that boy's name? Young and Ace, dude from my Florida or something.
I don't listen
Put it
to
like this. So I know you know the track from like the from the movie White Girls that all the black people know. You know what I'm saying? Or white
oh.
chicks rap. Excuse me. Yeah, exactly. So long story short,
It's crazy. I
what
know
they
that.
did was, it was him and like 2 or 3 other dudes. They took that song and made it a diss track, but they made it from that sample. You know what I'm saying? And then they put it out. You know what I'm saying? So
I see
I'm
what you're saying.
like, shit's fire, but it's like, you know.
Was it really good? Yeah, I feel that, and I think it's saying it's hella unfortunate, especially for the young creator because I know for me in my mind, and this is part of the reason why I decided to start dibbling and dabbling with music because I would always hear it, or I would always hear music and be like, I would love to hear it like this. Like I was that kid that added crazy kicks to an Anita Baker song. Like that was in my head the shit that I'll be hearing when I'm just listening to the track. But it's like, so I feel like it had to be happening to other people too, and it just kind of sucks that I have that creative the ability to have that creative freedom. But I feel like everything comes with the right time and with the right situation. Right. So how do you feel as far as, so we talked a lot about producing, but let's kind of go into the lyricism and the way people are spitting, and I'm gonna start off by saying I do not listen to drill rap. Like drill rap gets me anxious. Like and it's not even that like what they're talking about gets me anxious. It's how they rap. Like I can't get with it. You know what I'm saying? But it's not that I like it's just not my thing. Like I feel like drill rap is just some love child that came off of the mumble sheen from the Migos, and like it just kind of trickled down and it just kind of got more lost in the territory. So with that, I had to throw out that disclaimer because I didn't want you to say bring up no drill artist because I wouldn't have been able to help you.
To be honest with you,
for sure. So how do you feel about the state right now? The state of not just hip hop, but maybe even R&B when it comes to actual lyricism, when it comes to the actual things that being said and portrayed.
Well, R&B. I mean, when you're doing R&B and you're singing, it's a little bit more. You can get a little bit more passes when you're in R&B. Granted, sometimes you have a group of writers and you all are just trying to come up with the best track. You know what I'm saying? One of the things I love to do is, because I use Spotify, so whenever I go on there, I like to go and check the credits and see, who produced it,
who actually wrote it,
wrote it. You know what I'm saying? And you'd be surprised, man. Sometimes, even rappers, you go on there and you check the writer credits. It's about damn 8 people.
Like how the hell there was like 2? There was 2 bars. I mean, there was 2 verses. What did you write?
So, but even with that, you know what I'm saying? It's like a lot of people. Sometimes artists might give their homie a writer credit. Maybe they gave him an idea, so they'll just give him a credit. But whatever. But nonetheless, when it comes to lyricism, I think sometimes, man, it's hard to find people out here who are really, spitting or at least saying something worth saying, worth listening to. Because like I said, man, you got the drill scene, not talking about nothing, just talking about a bunch of, dumb shit. Yeah. And then you got even when it comes to people like, around our way, around here in AC, it's just like, it's still about the streets and the street, oriented stuff. And it's like, it's cool, but there's plenty of other people out here who are really spitting, who are really talking about something. Mm-hmm. And it's just kind of like they get, swept under the rug, man. And it's a shame, but, if you conform, then you're going to end up, swept up in the chaos, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Because I feel like it's, that's one thing that that we can't deny is that being a part of the culture, or even being an artist, I'll say specifically being an artist, is probably one of the most dangerous things you can do right now in the world, is be associated with hip hop, and which is terrible to think about it. But it's like, let's look at the proof. You know what I'm saying? How many, like, when is the last time we've had a week go by without some hip hop artists dying? You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of like, this is just so wild, but it's like it's associated to the bullshit that it's associated to, or at least I thought. And then you had somebody like P&B Rock died. And I'm just like, he wasn't even that type of artist. Like he wasn't even that type of artist. So it kind of really, it just it blows my mind, when you really think about it. And it's in real words, it kind of hurts, because this is like, damn, this is a culture that, I love it. I ain't never gonna leave it, but I can also die by this shit too.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Saying? So it's just it's wild. Like, so how do you feel? Saying, being a family man. We're both family men. You have children. how do you feel, you know what I'm saying, being a part of this culture, understanding that it's different out here for us?
Right. I mean, ultimately though, like when it comes to the music, just the music in general, this is what I love to do. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna let nothing or nobody stop me from what I love to do. Um, and I'm still gonna, exercise my right to continue to be an artist, until whenever I want to stop. Granted, I can be a producer behind the scenes and manage other people when the time comes, but ultimately, I'm gonna still be an artist. But nonetheless, I seen a video recently from a guy, and he was talking about the whole PNB Rock situation, and he was like, it's sad that I think because what it is it goes beyond the scope of music. You know what I'm saying? Like we need to look at black people in general, and it's like it's a damn shame. Like we can't congratulate another man for being successful because we jealous or we, whatever. Instead of being, inspired by that man, we want to get jealous and try to rob him, kill him, take what he got. But meanwhile, you know, Caucasian people, white people, they rich, they around each other, and there's no problems, no ego. You know what I'm saying? One nigga
I
pull
mean,
up in
they
a.
plot against each other. They just don't let each other know.
I mean, they might be, but it's not like as it's not as intentional, if you will,
For
as it
sure.
is amongst black people. Because it's like, white man, he might pull up in an expensive car or something, but he hop out that motherfucker. He got a Walmart outfit on, and ain't nothing wrong with shopping at Walmart. Let's get that out the way too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it ain't nothing wrong with that. He might have a normal watch on. He might have a damn iPhone
Plain Jane.
11.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's like, but and I mean, granted, as black people, obviously we love the flash. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get the most expensive car with the rims. We're gonna get the jewelry. We're gonna get all that. But I feel like at the same time, that makes you even more of a target than you already are, if not by other black people, damn sure from the cops. You know what I'm saying? Like it's too many things going against us when it comes to success because everybody wants to see us fail. If we being honest here, you know what I'm saying? So, ultimately,
I'm sorry. Go ahead, my bad.
Oh no, I was gonna say just ultimately, man, it's a shame because even like I said, the PNB Rock situation, like bro, like you catching a man with his wife and his girl, like what are you doing? Like, you gonna catch him, but in a situation like that, even then, it's like, bro, it's just wild out here, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's all I can
I
that's all
think
I can
that
say about it.
desperation speaks. You know what I'm saying? Desperation speaks. It speaks loud as hell, and that just kind of just shows where we're at with shit right now. You know what I'm saying? It just shows. You know what I'm saying? Like the level of shit. Like I don't know if you watch No Jumper, but they just did an episode and House Phone. One of the hosts was like, they drove to the studio, went upstairs, came back downstairs 10 minutes after he got there, and his car window was busted out and his shit was gone. He says that he almost went back downstairs 2 minutes after he got there because he thought he forgot something. He said, literally, had I went back down there, he was like, I would have been gone right now because I would have shot somebody breaking into my car. And technically, you can't even do that. You're not even allowed legally shoot somebody. You know what I'm saying? So it just shows just how fast that it's just like shit can change that fast. They was watching that cat. They you know what I'm saying? They was watching him. They was looking for him, and a desperation just it just speaks because I mean in my mind it's like I wouldn't expect anybody, especially if you got any type of you a rapper, you got any type of clout, you got any money and shit like that. I wouldn't be expecting you to be lacking ever. I would never. Right. I would expect that everybody else in that restaurant is got a gun and they all in there protecting you. That's how I'm thinking, but I'm also not desperate. So when you have people that go out there and do those desperate acts, they don't give. They're not thinking about shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's really fucked. The situations that what I'm saying that we find ourselves in. I say we, as a people that we find ourselves in, but it's also hard to try to even fathom what that desperation looks like, and then also trying to understand probably how young the person on the other side of that gun was.
Right.
Because these shooters turning into babies now. Like
yeah, you're right, man. And another thing too, man, it's like when you get to a certain level of success, you have to move different. You know what I'm saying? You just can't be. Yeah, I mean, granted, it's a shame that you can't just be with your family, going out to eat by yourself. But realistically, you gotta at least have 1 to 2 bodyguards with you or something. You can't, you know, you gotta
And
have
don't go
something
to the
with
worst Roscoe's in town.
you. Right? Like you get that shit to go. You know what I'm saying? Like fuck all that. Like you get it to go and go home and eat that shit. Don't be out here by yourself without no, you know, no protection, you know, and definitely don't hire your homeboys. Granted, you know, some people got niggas who've been with them forever, and it is what it is. But realistically, you need to hire some professional help. Watch your back while you doing what you're doing with your family or you by yourself. And then that's it, man. It's just you got to move different when you get to
and
a certain level.
just try to be okay, because sometimes people even move the best way that they can, still get, you know what I'm saying, like shit still happens. So I think you know it's definitely a half and half. You got to move better, but you got to move better, and people also got to stop looking for people, you know what I'm saying, like slipping, like, you know what I'm saying, that. But that's a whole nother, you know what I'm saying, conversation. I ain't trying to change the minds of all black men, you know what I'm saying, but it's like you know what I'm saying about it. But so kind of making a quick little segue, talking about, you know, kind of sticking on more recent music. Who have you been fucking with, like, you know what I'm saying, heavy mainstream, and people that, you know what I'm saying, haven't got the clout yet, you know what I'm saying, like I don't want to say clout, it's a bad way to say it, haven't got the exposure yet. Give me some artists you've been fucking with.
Shoot, man. I mean, like I said, we was talking about Larry June earlier. I really didn't even know who he was until I seen that he was at Dreamville Fest, and I'm like, wait a minute, this nigga was at Dreamville Fest. I'm like, okay. So after that, I started digging into his music, and man, this nigga right here, he I don't know what it is, man. It's like he just got this shit that it's like you can ride to it. He's spitting, he dropping knowledge. You know, he ain't doing too much on the mic either. He's not overtly lyrical or nothing
He's
like
not
that.
going
He's just,
super crazy, but he's
but
spitting. He's like,
he's still getting his point across, and I love that. So, you know, definitely Larry June. Quite frankly, I'm excited for Freddie Gibbs' album next week too. You know what I'm saying?
Return of the Rabbit. What's it called? What's it? Something about the rabbit, right?
Soul Separately. That's what it is.
Oh, so okay. I keep associating everything that rabbit with them, but
that's his trademark. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, Freddie Gibbs. Shit,
you heard the joke with him and Moneybagg Yo?
Yeah, with the DeBarge sample.
Man,
you know,
exactly. There we go.
Yeah, with a DeBarge sample. Let's see. Still listening to Kendrick. You know, I was listening to that today too. Shout out my man Ty for Thought, NC artist out here. He just dropped the album recently. It's called All Sold Out. So, you know, y'all go check that out. It's Ty for Thought. Shoot. Oh, also, man, shout out to my man Camus Leonardo. You know what I'm saying? I did an interview with him recently as well. And he just dropped a new EP and dropped another single recently. You know what I'm saying? So it's all fire. So, you know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all check him out as well.
And I'm gonna make sure I put all the links to all this stuff in the description below. So anything that he's mentioned, anything that I mentioned, I'm gonna make sure that I put it in the description below.
Absolutely, yeah. There's some fire guys out here, man. Like I said, if I'm not listening to, because I don't listen to the radio either, you know what I'm saying. So a lot of the people that I listen to are either indie artists or they are people who are really not on the radio like that. You know what I'm saying? So
for sure.
Yeah, it's a lot of people, man. I mean, shit, listening to my stuff, you know what I'm saying? Listen to my unreleased stuff. So,
I be listening to my own shit too sometimes, man. It's pretty like I always laugh at that shit, man, because I always be like, I mean, some people think it's pretentious up here. I'll just be like, fuck it, how am I gonna get better? How am I gonna hear something? You know what I'm saying? Especially like as becoming like a little baby. I call myself a baby producer, trying to, you know, say get into producing. You hear some shit, you be in the house, you had the headphones on, you be like, all right, cool. You get in the car and be like, the fuck is this?
That's how it is, man.
Completely changes it, or something comes in heavy. Like I remember the advice you gave me, you were just like, everything was a lead. And I was like, what does he mean by that? But then when I was listening to it, I was just like, damn, like everything is just right there, you know what I'm saying? And right there in your face. So it's just those things that, you know, you had to really, you know, so you had to be in different environments and different vibes listening to your shit, you know.
Right.
But, so like how have you been doing overall, like mentally? You know, so where would you kind of put yourself with that?
I'm probably at about a good 7.5. You know what I'm saying? Not nothing too crazy because it's like, you know, just going through things that we've already talked about and discussed. But at the same time, it's just like, you know, it's just another challenge. But I'm gonna get through it, and you know, and do
Yeah,
what I got to do, man. You know what I'm saying? So I can't complain too much.
for
So.
sure. What's some of those things that you do to kind of keep your head straight? As you're going through life.
Shoot, man. One of the things that I do, I mean, I hop on the game. You know what I'm saying? I think that's really one of those things that really kind of get me off of whatever I'm thinking about.
Kind of like a
You know,
mindless type of behavior, thing that you can
right?
just
Yeah,
kind
yeah, yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm not on the game heavy as I used to. You know what I'm saying, when I was younger or whatever. But
of. Mhm.
I would hop on there. I might play with my son or something. Play Fortnite or something with him, just chill out. But aside from that, man, just I try to, anytime I'm feeling a certain way, I try to, create music within the space that I'm feeling. You know what I'm saying? Try to encapsulate how I'm feeling within a beat. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's always a good, stress reliever. And then sometimes too, man, I like to go out. Like, it's nighttime over here, of course, but
Yeah.
sometimes I might like to go out late night and just ride. You know what I'm saying? Ride and listen to music. You know what I'm saying? That's always a good one too. So.
Man, that's a lost pastime, man. That's such a lost pastime.
It
I
is.
feel like I used to do that shit all the time. What I'm saying, just not have nowhere to go. You know what I'm saying? You
Hmm.
don't really got no waypoint. You just gone. You know what I'm saying? Not really sure why I don't do that anymore. Actually, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like things just kind of change with the times and shit. But
Right.
so kind of bringing it all full circle, but also, what I'm saying, kind of circling back to some of the newer things that you had coming forward. So we talked about the project, the Lair. And you also talk about, saying another album coming out. Would it be this year or next year?
It'll be out next year.
Next year, for sure. Okay, so tell me
Hmm.
what we can expect with that album. Because one thing that I realized as far as your projects is that they usually follow a theme. Say they usually either they follow a theme or they're inspired by something specifically. Like
Right.
like that. I mean, like that one album. Like I can't think of. I'm missing the album name right now, but the one where you went back to your childhood home and you took the
Better late
pictures
than
and all that
never.
stuff like that. Yeah, so like I really fucked with that because for one, it sets it up right there. Like as soon as I saw the album cover before I even heard it, I was like, let me look up this address. So I literally looked up the address and I was just
Right.
like doing this stuff. And I was just like, oh, that's the same. So I was like, that's the house or whatever. And I was kind of looking, he was like, oh, yeah, that's where I grew up. And I was like, oh, man, see that it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Because too many artists put out shit that just it has no connection to it. But, anyways, I'm getting long winded. Can you
Right.
tell me about, said about these projects that you have coming up and, what we can expect from them?
Yeah, man. So again, Lair is gonna be out September 30th. So what I'm saying, all streaming platforms. Myself, Vinny Dangerous, Born Essential. 3 tracks of nothing but heat. So what I'm saying, it's got some bars. You're gonna have some for the some aimed at the ladies, and then you're gonna have some that's on some, you know, uh introspective, talking about the world and the discrimination against blacks and stuff. So, I'm gonna leave it at that. So y'all will
For
see
sure.
what we're talking about on September 30th. But aside from that, again, I got another project coming out with my man Sci-Fi X. That's an EP. No title yet, no definite release date. Just a 6-track EP that me and him, finally decided to collab on. So that's coming out pretty soon as well. Um, Also, what I'm saying, should well, of course, I don't know if I told you this or not, but trying to plan something, a return of the villains, what I'm saying, trying to plan something with that. Been in talks with my man Mello, and
That'll be wild.
yeah, man, it's crazy because people have been asking me about it. Like recently, I've been at shows, and I've had some of the homies ask me like, "Yo, when y'all coming back? What's going on?" So it's like, yeah, we got to come
It's
back.
that
So
time. Yeah, it's that
yeah,
time.
man. So
Like I kind of see a
hopefully.
whole like Revenge of the Nerds type of like vibe of Return of the Villains, like Return of the Sith,
Right.
or even
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
Star
So
Wars with it. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah,
yeah, it's gonna be crazy, man. So hopefully, me and him can lock in on that pretty soon as well. And then, of course, getting into the album. To answer your question as far as the theme and whatnot. Basically, this one is gonna be called Triple Crown, and basically the meaning behind that is it.
I think you did tell me about the name of the album. It sounds like
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, it's like following the 3 most important things in my life, which is faith, family, music. You know what I'm saying? So, um, it's a little bit of I ain't gonna say a reach, but it's a little bit more ambitious this one because I'm aiming to do 20 tracks because it's gonna be 10, like the first side or the first 10 tracks would be like just straight bangers, heat, whatever, and then that second side is gonna be more introspective, more storytelling. Definitely getting a lot deeper on the second side than I probably have thus far, but that's always been my bread and butter, being introspective. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because everybody know I can spit, but I really want people to understand and get to know me as a person beyond the music. You know what I'm saying?
Already, man. Shit, I'm definitely looking forward to it. Like I'm definitely looking forward to that one. I feel like that's been the better, the better vibe that I've been noticing is even even with some rappers that started off and they didn't have any type of depth in their music. Once they start to mature, that's the one thing that they want to start doing is opening up more and actually wanted to, talk about, things that actually fucking matter.
Mm-hmm.
Drill music aside. But
Yeah.
but yeah, I think that say that's definitely something that we need, man. So but yeah, man, I'm looking forward to all your projects, bro. I'll make sure that I put all your projects down in the description below as well. And you know how I usually wrap it up, man. If there was a message that you could get out to everybody in the world, what would it be?
Mm. I would say, man, this, we gotta let's not sweat the small shit. You know what I'm saying? Don't sweat the small shit. That's what I would say because I think sometimes there's a lot of shit out here that people get too caught up on, and it's like, there's other bigger issues that we need to be discussing versus dealing with this shit. It's like, nah,
Yeah,
police brutality, fucking the water in Mississippi. You know what I mean? It's a whole
that shit.
bunch of shit that we could go on about, but everybody want to keep talking about, what's making headlines or this or that. Like,
And that shit changes
not
all the time.
exactly. Yeah, we got to stop paying attention to the bullshit and get on this real shit, man, for real. So,
I
yeah.
like that. Stop paying attention to the bullshit. Get on this real shit. Like simple and put. Make sure that you bout something. Make sure that you stand for something. Or literally, as cliche as you will fall for anything. Hey, bro,
Facts.
I appreciate you coming on here, man. It's always a pleasure talking to you, bro. And I know I said that we're wrapping it up, but just real quick, let everybody know where they can follow you and get your music.
Yeah, man. Y'all can follow me on IG at St. Pat_TV, YouTube St. Pat TV, Facebook St. Pat TV, Twitter St. Pat TV. I don't really be on Twitter like that, but if you want to, what I'm saying, definitely follow your boy. Again, all the music is on all streaming platforms. That is Better Late Than Never, the album, Coronation EP, few singles such as Villain Mentality, Target Practice. And if you want to, man, definitely check out the Villains. That's THAVILLENZ. We have Villain Season, Off Season, and Carolina's Finest EP, all on streaming platforms. So definitely check those out as well.
Man, y'all better tap in with them and tap in with all those projects. They all individually dope. Everything coming forward, I know it's gonna be dope. Like I said, bro, I appreciate you. Country Fan Mail Podcast, Clue to Don. Y'all better tap in with this cat for it's too late.